Drafting with Numot is brought to you by CoolStuffInc.com and GatheringMagic.com. Explore the game.
Hello friends, welcome to another edition of Drafting with Numot. Let us join another Modern Masters 2015 draft and see how we do this time. Okay, draft is a go, and looks like we opened a decent rare. Overwhelming Stampede is certainly one of the cards that you would like to open in this format if you're not opening some money card. Other considerations here, Vampire Outcast is great, Scion of the Wild's pretty good, and we would hope that to wheel, but that's unlikely. Yeah, maybe Smoke Braider. I mean, this pack's not very strong overall, so it's unlikely we're going to wheel anything of note, but happy to take an Overwhelming Stampede here. This generally leads into two archetypes, either green-white tokens or green-black tokens, but we'll have to see how the packs go. Definitely happy to take the Overwhelming Stampede first pick. And wow! Immediately get an excellent one, a card that a lot of people, including myself, call a mythic uncommon just because it can win the game on its own. That card is Selesnya Guildmage. Goes right into the deck that Overwhelming Stampede wants. It's a 2/2. You can poop out tokens, you can pump your team, it just does everything that you want. Cards of note that we're passing, Plaxcaster Frogling's nice. Sunlance is good, Nameless Inversion of course, but yeah, wow. Happy to pick up one of the best 2-drops in the format. Follow that up with a pack that's not very good for us per se. Tukatung Thallid is generally not a card I want in the tokens deck. It's fine, don't get me wrong, it's fine in that list, but it's so, I don't know, bad? I guess it's just bad. You don't want it in your deck. It does lend to the token theme, but 1/1 for 1, and you get a 1/1 when it dies is just not amazing. I think Flayer Husk is just going to be a better pick here than the Tukatung if I'm going to stay that route. That being said, I don't have to be green-white or green-black. Could take like Gorehorn Minotaur here. Air Serpent's very good. Agony Warp's powerful. I think staying open, I would probably want to take the Gorehorn or the Air Serpent, but I'm going to go ahead and just take the Flayer Husk here. I know I take this card a lot higher than a lot of people, and it's true, I kind of overrate it, but I'm going to go ahead and take it here and see what happens. And then we get this pack. There is a Dread Drone here, which is fine for the green-black tokens list, but Electrolyze is definitely just a better card. Etched Oracle also more powerful than, well, both Dread Drone. Yeah, maybe not better than Electrolyze, but both cards very powerful. Kitesail in the pack, Sphere of the Suns, Apostle's Blessing. Kind of wish I had stayed open that last pack now, because I'm tempted to take this Electrolyze, but yeah, maybe I just take the Dread Drone here and kind of commit to the tokens theme. I mean, with Overwhelming Stampede and Selesnya Guildmage, you definitely don't mind having token producers like Dread Drone, so I'm gonna go ahead and take that and see where we end up. Glinthawk Idol, Plagued Rusalka, Waxmane Baku. Not really seeing any of the green cards that we're looking for. Things like Nest Invader and Kozilek's Predator are both very, very high picks for us. Plagued Rusalka is actually really decent in the tokens list as well. It's an early creature. You have a lot of tokens, you know, as the name implies, in your deck, so it's going to be fine generally. That being said, with Selesnya Guildmage, I would rather be green-white, which would mean taking like the Glinthawk Idol or the Waxmane here, but after already taking Dread Drone, I think Plagued Rusalka is a fine pick. It's interesting. Actually, I'm going to go with the Glinthawk Idol. This keeps me open to Affinity as well, and I'm not actually sure what we're going yet, because even though we opened Overwhelming Stampede and got past a Selesnya Guildmage, it doesn't necessarily mean that we want to be the tokens list. So here we can either take Bone Splinters, which is just great in black-white, black-green, or we can take like Blinkmoth Nexus, Cathodian, Primarch. Like Nexus definitely goes into the Affinity deck, which we could be building still. I think Bone Splinters is maybe the better pick, but Blinkmoth Nexus keeps us open. I've said this many times before. In this format, it's more important to stay open and get, move into the archetype that you're getting past. So I'm going to take the Blinkmoth here. It keeps us open. You can run it in any deck. And we'll follow that up with either a Crusher or a Plagued Rusalka #1. Nothing too amazing here. I mean, the Flayer Husk I could take, again, if we wanted to go down the affinity route. We haven't been seeing much green, honestly. There are some spirits again. There's a Crusher, which is fine. I'm going to take the Flayer Husk here. We'll see what happens, because, you know, I'm not really seeing any of the green cards that we want. And that's another Waxmane Baku. Okay, we're going to take the Waxmane. We could be moving into spirits. If we do, Selesnya Guildmage is still a fine play there, as is Dread Drone. Again, stay open in this format. That's all you can do. Alright, pretty mediocre pack. I don't really want to take Sign and Blitter and Still Infection. I'm going to take the Gust-Skimmer. See if that artifact deck is still open, because again, there's just nothing here for the color combinations that we're seeing. Alright. Repeal. Fiery Fall. Pretty late Fiery Fall, honestly. Celestial Purge. Gonna take the sideboard card here. Okay, Mana Leak. Scuttling Death for the spirits. Probably take Scuttles and see what happens. Alright, Waking Nightmare is not very exciting. I'll take Thoughtcast for the affinity. Plague Rusalka. Okay, spirits again. So even though pack 1 did not go very well for us, I think this is still a fine place to be. We're kind of hedging on a few different strategies, but that's okay. Going into pack 2, we have at least a few different routes we can go, and that just means we get a, you know, if we open something sweet in like blue, we can take it. So I'm not feeling too unhappy here. Well, Splinter Twin is not the card I was hoping to open, but that's definitely a fine card. Savage Twister, Spite Bellows, Aether Snipe, Arrest, Thief of Hope. This pack has some very powerful cards in it. Now, don't be surprised if we see a lot of green this pack, because we didn't see green in the last pack. We opened the Overwhelming Stampede and then got past the Selesnya Guildmage, but we didn't see any green after that. So, the person to our right is probably in green. The person to our left who's passing to us now might ship us a lot of green cards. The question is, which route do we want to go? I think I'm tempted to take Arrest here. Savage Twister, Thief, Spite Bellows, Aether Snipe, all great considerations, but I don't mind just taking Arrest. Again, we're a little bit all over the place, but so here's a pack. Cranial Plating for the artifact deck, Palaka Worm for the green deck, Vengeful Rebirth, Gnarled Pack, Grim Affliction, some other nice cards. I think I might just take Cranial Plating here. Again, I wouldn't be surprised to see a ton of good green in this pack, just because we didn't pass much of it in pack 1. But then in pack 3, we're not going to see a lot of it again. I know it sucks to pass this Palaka Worm to the person to our right, but Cranial Plating is that good. I already have a lot of artifacts. I'm going to move in. Happy to take a Chimeric Mass here. We're probably going to wheel the Faerie Mechanist. Passing another Thief of Hope, Flayer Husk, Sunspear Shikari. But Chimeric Mass is a nice one for sure. Alright, there it is. Argent Sphinx. We moved into artifacts, and we're getting a little bit rewarded here. So I'm going to move all these cards, black and green, to the sideboard now. We can still play the Selesnya Guildmage as a double white card, but very happy to see that pick. Not happy to see this pick, because there's like nothing here for us. I can take Apostle's Blessing just fine. Probably not running the Waxmane. We can get the Thoughtcast in there. Blinkmoth Nexus was going to make the deck already. You know, with Cranial Plating double Flayer Husk, Skyhunter Skirmisher is absolutely okay. Yes, it's not an artifact, but with this much pump, I mean, it can easily just one-shot or two-shot the opponent. Ethercaste Knight is perfect for this deck. Love it. One of my favorite artifacts if you guys ever had a chance to play in Alara block. Well, maybe this card wasn't exciting in Alara block, but it's good here. Passing a Blood Ogre, Bone Splinters, Thoughtcast, Vapor Snag, yada yada. Happy to pick that one up. Okay, Gambit actually works with Chimeric Mass in proliferating, but I think I'd rather just have Vapor Snag here. Don't get me wrong, card draw is excellent, but we already have Thoughtcasts that we can pick up for the artifact deck, and Vapor Snag is just a great tempo utility card. Rusted Relic, happy to see that. Would play many, many ones of those, so great pick for the artifacts. Alright, we're going to have to pick up some more artifacts in the next pack for sure, just because we moved into it a little bit late, but I think this is a really decent move into the 2-color deck. Sorry, the 2-color artifact deck. Really, really enjoying this format. That is kind of absurd. So Spite Bellows on the wheel, Thief of Hope on the wheel, Mana Leak on the wheel. Generally, Mana Leak is not something that you want for the Affinity deck, but I think it might be okay in ours. It's either that or I'm hating on a Smash to Smithereens, but because we moved in a little bit late, I'm still looking for playable, so Mana Leak is fine. Alright, another Sky Hunter Skirmisher. Man, looks like 5-color was also open, but I'm not concerned with where we ended up. We did wield a Faerie Mechanist. We're still passing a ton of spirits, but looks like both of those archetypes were fairly open, so I'm not too concerned. I think Frogmite is actually really, really bad if you don't have like 3 Darksteel Citadels or just a ton of early game, and Myr Enforcer is generally just going to be better. I'm going to take Sideboard Gutshot here over the Wings of Velisvale. Alright, and now we have most of Pack 2 to finish out our deck. I do need some more artifacts for sure, but because of the route that I took in Pack 1, we have a good number of artifacts going into Pack 3 here. 2 Flayer Husks, Glinthawk Idol, Gust-Skimmer, Cranial Plating, Knight, Rusted Relic, Mechanist, some top-end cards. I'm probably not going to run 2 Thoughtcast. I don't even like running 1 generally, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do. It's kind of funny that we opened the perfect hate card against us. Another good pack. Spread the Sickness, Water Servant, Scatter the Seeds, Tribal Flames, Sickleslicer. I think I like taking the Gust-Skimmer here. We're a little bit short on creatures currently. And even though we do have the double Skirmisher, which makes the Sickleslicer better, I think I'd rather just take the lower card here, lower converted mana cost. Although that being said, I can probably take Sickleslicer and wield the Gust-Skimmer. So maybe that's a reason that I should take the Slicer here. And don't get me wrong, Sunspear Shikari is still great in this deck with double Flayer Husk and Cranial Plating. I'll take the Sickleslicer and try to wield the Gust-Skimmer. I think that's fine. Alrighty. Another good pack. Glinthawk Idol here for sure for me. Another cheap evasive artifact beater. And we're probably going to wheel one of these artifact cards. Would be happy with the Darksteel Citadel for sure. But Tumble Magnet, Myr Enforcer, Copper Carapace, all fine as well. Alright, Myrsmith, happy to take that. I know I'm passing a Blinding Souleater, but Myrsmith is great. Most of our artifacts come down turn 2 or 1, so... Or rather, they cost 1 or 2 mana, so Myrsmith is generally going to be pretty nice here. Just gives us some added value. At this point, I might be looking to actually cut the Selesnya Guildmage. It's just a 2/2 that can randomly pump the team, but it costs double white. I know I already have 2 Skirmishers, which are double white as well, but I might be cutting them too, honestly. Like, if we pick up enough good artifacts, I will absolutely cut the Skirmishers in trade for the artifacts. Well, that's kind of awkward. Another Selesnya Guildmage is a little bit absurd, but there's a Blinding Souleater here, which I'm considering taking over the Selesnya Guildmage. Again, I go for synergy, and yeah, had I stayed in the token route, having 2 Selesnya Guildmages would be absurd, but Blinding Souleater is just going to be better for our deck. Okay, Etched Champion getting rewarded here. That's one of the best ones to pick up, especially when you have Cranial Plating. It's just so hard to deal with. If I could somehow wield the Mechanist, the Glinthawk, or the Gust-Skimmer, I would be so happy, but Etched Oracle, definitely the pick. Wow, another great pack for us here. Dispatch, Tumble Magnet, Darksteel Citadel, Sunlance. Wow. At this point, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 artifacts. Okay, so we still want to pick up some more artifacts, but Dispatch is so good, as is Darksteel Citadel. Sunlance very good too. I'm looking to cut the Skirmishers, again, in lieu of more synergy, but Dispatch here is going to be the pick for me. Another Myrsmith, great pickup. Passing another Mechanist, but things really came together here for us. I'm going to hate on this Sundering. And again, we're looking to wheel those Darksteel Citadels, and now with double Myrsmith, any cheap artifact, even Expedition Map is probably a fine playable for us. This turned out really nicely. Only saw 1 Rusted Relic, but we picked it up, luckily. Myr Enforcer gets a lot better with the Myrsmiths. The Cranial Plating just got absurd. Not that that card wasn't already absurd, but gets more absurd. Wield the Gust-Skimmer, great, that's what we were looking for. I actually think we have a chance at, either 1 or 2 more Gust-Skimmers, in addition to Flayer Husk and Cranial Plating. Or sorry, Darksteel Citadel, which we did pick up. I think taking the Citadel here is definitely better than taking Tumble Magnet. I mean, it's surprising how much work Darksteel Citadel does in this type of deck. With Rusted Relic, you can even find it off Mechanist. It's affinity for the Thoughtcast, affinity for Myr Enforcer, Metalcraft for Etched Oracle, etc., etc. Happy to pick that up. I will consider running the Expedition map, but I don't think I'm going to run it. It can find the Blinkmoth Nexus. It is a very cheap artifact. But it's not something you want to necessarily main deck. Maybe if I was going to splash the Selesnya Guildmage and add a green source, but I don't think we want to do that. I think our deck came together really nicely, and there's not going to be a need to splash Selesnya, or even run it main deck for the pump ability. Alright, Sickleslicer's pretty decent. Happy to take that. Gust-Skimmer again on the wheel. Great for us. Alright, I'm going to cut the Mana Leak now, and I need to cut one more card. I could get away with 16 in this deck, but I would just feel safer with 17. We do want to hit our land drops, right? With the Myrsmiths, all the equipment moving around. Yeah, we got that Citadel back too. Nice. Again, cannot tell you guys how important it is to stay open in this format enough. You saw how Pack 1 went for us. It was, well, needless to say, poor. We were all over the place. But identifying the signals, moving into the open archetype, you just see how much we got rewarded. I mean, yes, obviously there was some level of luck getting past both Argent Sphinx, Etched Champion, Chimeric Mass, Cranial Plating, but that's part of reading the signals, so let that be of note. What to cut? I need one cut in this deck. It might be a Flayer Husk, although that seems a little bit awkward to me. In all honesty, it might just be the Vapor Snag at this point. We want to keep all the early artifacts in our deck just for the synergy. And Vapor Snag, well, a decent card here, is not amazing. We can always sideboard it in. Everything else has synergies, so yeah, we'll keep this. We got 3 colorless lands, but mana requirements aren't too bad. You do have to pay attention, though. I have double Glint Idol and triple Gust-Skimmer, as well as Blinding Souleater. So there are uses for the colored mana. Glint Idol I'm not too worried about. We have a ton of artifacts to turn them on. Gust-Skimmer, yeah, that would be nice. But I think it's most important that we get a white source earliest because of the Myrsmiths. So I'm running 18 lands here, so I might go 9 plains, 8 islands. Or sorry, 9 plains, 6. Wait, no. I have room for 14 lands? Sorry, 8 plains, 6 islands? That definitely hurts the Argent Sphinx. That definitely hurts the Gust-Skimmers. 7-7 versus 8-6. It's close. I think we'll go with 7-7. That's what MTGO suggests, although MTGO doesn't look at the activated abilities of our artifacts here. It's just, man, we'd rather have white early than blue, but I think we're going to run with it. I definitely think it's worth it to run it the Citadels and the Blinkmoth, so we'll keep it like this. Alright, looks great to me. We'll ship this. We'll see you guys back for round 1. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you for watching Drafting with Numot. If you haven't already subscribed to Gathering Magic, you can do so to receive news of upcoming videos and discover new content. You can also check out our playlist that contains every episode of Drafting with Numot. And don't forget, you can easily watch the next video by clicking on the annotation on screen or a direct link in the video's description box. And as always, thanks for watching.